My wife said, "You don't trust me enough to share a bed anymore?" I replied, "Not after your one-sided open marriage." Funny thing about trust, it's like a glass, and Megan just dropped ours off a 3-story fire escape. Rain streaked down our bedroom window as I watched her pack another overnight bag. Third one this month. The woman who used to complain about sleeping away from home now had more frequent flyer miles to downtown hotels than a traveling salesman. "It's another client dinner, Derek," she said, not meeting my eyes. "You know how the Peterson account is." Right. The Peterson account that required Victoria's Secret lingerie in size small when Megan wore medium. The Peterson account that left cologne on her blouses, cologne that smelled nothing like what I wore. The Peterson account that had her phone buzzing at midnight with messages from B. I'm an IT specialist. I notice patterns, data inconsistencies, anomalies in the system. Megan was one giant anomaly. "Sure," I said, leaning against the doorframe. "Give my regards to Peterson, or Brandon, or whoever's keeping you so busy these days." Her hand froze on the zipper. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing. Just funny how your work schedule got so demanding right after you started working with that new business associate." She turned, and for a split second, I saw something flicker across her face. Guilt? Fear? Then her expression hardened into that practiced smile she used on difficult clients. "Derek, you're being paranoid. Maybe I should be worried about you. All this suspicion isn't healthy." Classic Megan. Flip the script, make me the problem. But I'd been married to her for 8 years. I knew her tells. After she left, I called Lily. "Never trusted that woman," my old college friend said over the phone. "She's always been a snake with good hair. Want me to dig around?" Lily Chen was an investigative blogger now, the kind who specialized in exposing corporate corruption and personal scandals. She had a network of sources that would make the FBI jealous and a cynical streak that matched my own. "Just see what you can find. Quietly." "Derek, honey, I don't do anything quietly, but I'll be discreet." That night, alone in our king-size bed, I stared at the ceiling and listened to rain hammer the roof. Somewhere across town, my wife was probably doing things with Brandon that she hadn't done with me in months. The thought made my stomach churn and my fists clench. My phone buzzed. Text from Megan. "Working late. Don't wait up." Working late. Right. I was about to put the phone down when another message popped up. This one meant for her phone, but somehow delivered to mine. Network glitch, maybe. It read, "Last night was insane. Can't wait for round 2, B." My blood went cold. The next morning, Megan announced another girls' night with her sister. But when I checked our rideshare account, the one we shared, I found a receipt. Destination, the Meridian Hotel downtown. Time, 8:47 p.m. The same night she was supposedly having wine and gossip with family. I made a decision that would change everything. I was going to follow her. Lily met me 3 blocks from the Meridian, carrying a bag full of what she called surveillance essentials. Burner phones, a telephoto camera, and enough caffeine to keep us wired all night. "This feels very noir, detective," she said, settling into my passenger seat. "Except instead of a femme fatale, we're chasing your cheating wife." Same difference. We waited in the parking garage until I spotted Megan's silver Accord. She emerged wearing a dress I'd never seen, black, expensive, the kind that made statements. Brandon met her at the elevator, tall, smug, with the kind of confidence that came from never facing real consequences. They looked comfortable together, familiar. "How long you think this has been going on?" Lily asked, snapping photos. "Longer than I want to know." We followed them to the hotel bar, staying far enough back to avoid detection. The place was dimly lit, full of business travelers and people conducting affairs. Perfect cover. Finding a booth with a clear sightline, we ordered drinks and activated the recording app on Lily's phone. What we heard made my hands shake with rage. "He's so clueless," Megan was saying, laughing. "I could probably bring you home for dinner and Derek would just assume you're another client. Keeping the chump in line, huh?" Brandon's voice carried that particular brand of arrogance I wanted to punch. Please. He'd never believe I'd go this far. Derek thinks I'm this perfect suburban wife. Meanwhile, she leaned closer to Brandon, whispering something that made him grin. Think he'll notice tonight? Brandon asked. What we're planning? Notice what? Megan's voice dropped. The little gift I've been putting in his coffee? Trust me, when he starts getting sick, he'll be too worried about his health to wonder where I've been spending my evenings. My blood turned to ice. Gift in my coffee? I'd been feeling nauseous lately, tired, run down. I'd attributed it to stress. Lily grabbed my arm, her eyes wide. She'd heard it too. But our eavesdropping session was about to get complicated. One of Brandon's friends, a thick-necked guy in an expensive suit, spotted us from across the bar. He said something to Brandon, who turned and looked directly at our booth. Time to go, Lily hissed. We bolted for the exit, but Brandon's crew was faster. They split up, trying to cut us off at the elevators. I grabbed Lily's hand and pulled her toward the service corridor, my heart hammering against my ribs. This way! We ducked into a housekeeping area, pressing ourselves against a wall of clean linens as footsteps echoed in the hallway outside. Brandon's voice carried through the door. Find them. I want to know who they are and what they heard. In the chaos, I'd managed to grab something from Brandon's table, his keycard and phone left behind when he jumped up to chase us. Small victories. We waited 20 minutes before sneaking out through a service exit. Back in my car, hands still shaking, I unlocked Brandon's phone. What I found there made everything worse. A video. Megan, clearly drunk, talking to the camera. Derek's been so tired lately. Poor baby doesn't know I've been crushing up Brandon's old prescription sleep aids in his morning coffee. Just enough to make him sluggish, you know? When I file for divorce, I'll tell everyone he's been acting erratic, maybe using drugs. Who's going to believe him over me? She wasn't just cheating. She was setting me up, poisoning me, planning to destroy my reputation and take everything in the divorce. Jesus Christ, Derek. Lily's face was pale in the dashboard light. She's not just unfaithful, she's dangerous. I stared at the phone screen, watching my wife casually discuss destroying my life. 8 years of marriage. 8 years of thinking I knew her. We need more evidence, I said, my voice steady despite the rage building in my chest. And then we're going to burn their world down. Lily and I spent the next week building our case like we were preparing for trial. Hotel receipts, text messages, photos, the video confession. Everything carefully documented and backed up in multiple locations. Your wife's not just a cheater, Lily said, reviewing the evidence on her laptop. She's running a full psychological warfare operation. Look at this. She showed me a recorded phone call between Megan and her brother Tyler, a conversation I'd captured using Brandon's phone before returning it anonymously to Hotel Lost and Found. If Derek asks, you'll tell him I was with you last Tuesday, right? Megan's voice was honey-sweet, but the underlying steel was unmistakable. Meg, I don't like lying for you. Tyler, remember who co-signed your student loans. Remember who helped when Sarah left you. You owe me. Fine, but this is the last time. Sure, baby brother, the last time. The web was bigger than just adultery. Megan had been manipulating people for months, maybe years, building a network of enablers and alibis. Her mother, her co-workers, even our neighbors. Everyone had a piece of the lie. But the most interesting discovery came when Lily dug into Brandon's background. Your wife's boyfriend has expensive tastes and a gambling problem, she said, showing me financial records. Also, guess who's been helping him pay his debts? The bank transfers were right there. Megan had been funneling money from our joint account to Brandon for months. Money I'd earned, money I'd trusted her to manage. There's more, Lily said, her voice taking on that particular tone she used when she'd found something big. Remember Brandon's married, right? Well, his wife isn't the only family connection here. She pulled up a photo from a charity gala. Megan's mother, elegant in a silver gown, standing very close to an older man with Brandon's jawline. That's Brandon's father. They've been having an affair for 2 years. The scope of the deception was staggering. This wasn't just about sex, it was about money, power, and a network of people who'd decided I was expendable. Time for some reciprocal destruction. We uploaded everything to a secure server and prepared our distribution list. Megan's family, her company's HR department, Brandon's wife, his business partners, and selected neighbors who'd always been a little too interested in our marriage. The nuclear option. You sure about this? Lily asked, her finger hovering over the send button. Once this goes out, there's no taking it back. She poisoned me, Lily. She was planning to destroy my life and take everything I've worked for. I'm sure. Send it. The emails went out at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. By noon, my phone was ringing nonstop. Megan's sister, crying. Her mother, screaming. Co-workers who'd suddenly realized why Megan had been asking so many personal questions about me. But the best call came from Brandon's wife. Thank you, she said simply. I've been going crazy thinking I was paranoid. Now I know I was right. 48 hours later, Megan came home. I heard her car in the driveway, the slam of the door, the click of her heels on the walkway. When she started pounding on the front door, I was ready. You son of a bitch! She screamed through the wood. Open this door! You ruined everything! I opened it slowly, calmly. Megan stood on our porch, soaked from the rain, her perfect hair plastered to her skull, mascara running down her cheeks like war paint. Hello, sweetheart, how was work? She lunged at me, but I stepped aside. 8 years of marriage had taught me to read her moods, and right now she was pure fury. You destroyed my life. My family won't talk to me. They fired me. Brandon's wife is taking everything in their divorce. Sounds rough, I said. Maybe you should have thought about consequences before you started poisoning your husband. Behind her, I could see neighbors gathering on their porches, phones out, recording. The whole street was about to get a show. I have the video, Megan. Your confession. Your voice, talking about crushing pills in my coffee. Her face went white. You can't prove anything. Already did, check your email. That's when she completely lost it. Act 4, The Reckoning. Megan's scream could have shattered windows. She came at me with fingernails extended, but I was ready. Years of weekend martial arts classes weren't much, but they were enough to handle one furious suburban housewife. I caught her wrists, spun her around, and marched her back onto the porch where the whole neighborhood could see. Let me go! Let me go! Gladly. I released her, and she stumbled backward into the rain. That's when the cavalry arrived, her family's cars pulling up to the curb like some twisted intervention. Megan's mother emerged from a black SUV, her face a mask of rage and embarrassment. Derek, how dare you humiliate my daughter like this? Your daughter humiliated herself. I just provided documentation. Tyler got out of the passenger seat looking like he wanted to be anywhere else. Meg, we need to talk. Don't you start with me? Megan whirled on her brother. You're supposed to be on my side. I was on your side. I lied for you, but poisoning Derek. Jesus, Meg, what's wrong with you? The family argument that followed was better than cable television. 8 years of suppressed grievances, old grudges, and dirty secrets came pouring out on my front lawn while the neighbors recorded everything. But the real fireworks started when Brandon showed up. He came screeching into the driveway in his BMW, jumped out like some kind of action hero, and immediately started yelling at me. You destroyed my marriage, my business, everything. You destroyed your own marriage when you started sleeping with mine. He took a swing at me, big mistake. I ducked under his haymaker and drove my fist into his solar plexus. Brandon folded like a cheap suit, gasping for air. When he tried to grab me, I used his momentum to throw him onto the wet grass. Stay down, I warned, but Brandon was too stupid to listen. He came at me again, and this time I didn't hold back. A quick combination, jab, cross, uppercut, and Brandon was on his back, blood streaming from his nose. That's when the police sirens started wailing. Lily appeared from around the corner, phone in hand, looking very satisfied with herself. Called them 20 minutes ago, she said. Figured this would get ugly. The cops sorted it out quickly. Brandon had outstanding warrants, something about unpaid gambling debts and check fraud that Lily had helpfully brought to their attention. They cuffed him right there on my lawn while he bled into the grass. Megan watched her lover get arrested, her family screaming at each other, her perfect life crumbling in real time. The neighbors were getting it all on video, and I knew it would be online within hours. But Lily had one more surprise. Derek, she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "There's something I need to tell you." She held up her phone, showing that she'd been recording everything. Not just tonight, but everything. Our surveillance, our planning, our revenge. This is going to make one hell of a story. Suburban wife's elaborate betrayal exposed by husband's brilliant revenge. It'll go viral. "Lily, what are you—" "I'm Brandon's ex-girlfriend," she said simply. "From college. He destroyed my life 10 years ago, and I've been waiting for the right moment to return the favor." My blood turned cold. "You used me." "We used each other. You wanted revenge on Megan. I wanted revenge on Brandon. Sometimes the best way to catch two snakes is to let them lead you to each other." I stared at her, realizing I'd been played by everyone. My wife, her lover, and now my oldest friend. "You recorded everything. Our conversations, our planning. Evidence, Derek. For the story. Don't worry, you come off as the hero. The brilliant husband who outsmarted his cheating wife and exposed a network of corruption." Megan, who'd been watching this exchange with growing horror, suddenly understood what was happening. "You bitch!" she screamed, lunging at Lily. "You planned this whole thing!" I stepped between them as Megan's fingernails went for Lily's eyes. The impact sent all three of us tumbling onto the wet grass in a tangle of limbs and fury. Police officers moved in to separate us, but the damage was done. Megan's last desperate attack had been captured by a dozen phones, her final moment of dignity stripped away in front of the entire neighborhood. As they pulled her off of Lily, Megan's eyes found mine. In them, I saw the woman I'd married, not the manipulator, not the poisoner, but the person I'd once loved. For just a moment, she looked lost and broken and human. Then the moment passed, and she was screaming threats again as the officers restrained her. "This isn't over! You hear me? This isn't over!" But it was over. Her family was done with her lies. Her job was gone. Her lover was in handcuffs. Her reputation was destroyed, and the video evidence of her crimes was spreading across social media like wildfire. I turned to Lily, who was brushing grass stains off her jacket and looking very pleased with herself. "Ready for a drink?" I asked. "I hear trust is on the menu." She laughed, a sound like breaking glass in the rain. "Derek, honey, after tonight, I don't think any of us should be talking about trust." The police lights painted everything red and blue. The neighbors pressed closer with their phones, and somewhere in the distance, thunder rolled across the city like applause.